So when our plants are outdoors in nature, like these orchids right here, the rain falls, it washes them off, and they have a nice healthy glow. But when we bring them indoors, they tend to get dust. They may have some, greasy buildup on there, so we have to clean them. Yes, guys, so like anything else in nature, our plants, they need to be cleaned. But you want to make sure that you're doing it in a way that doesn't harm them, it actually helps them. And I'm going to go over all of those steps today. And it depends on the type of plant that you have, the way you're going to do it. It could be like an orchid like this right here. It could be a water plant. It could be a succulent, or it could be a tropical like my Croton right there. So we're going to take a look at all of those. And if you've never been here before, my name is Marlene. Welcome to my home and garden channel. Now let's take a look and see how we're going to get these plants cleaned up. So as you can see right here, guys, there's a lot of dust on these plants, and it doesn't matter if it's an orchid like the one on the left or this pothos right here. It can happen to succulents as well, such as this one here, and even your tropical plants like my Croton back there. And so we have to go through and take a look at them individually. So we're going to look at the orchids first. So this is my orchid right here. It's not in bloom, and that's typically the best time to clean them as well, because the flowers are not going to get in the way. You can see that, the older leaves have more buildup on them, and it's a little bit greasy too. And the younger leaf looks a little bit shinier, a little bit cleaner. But either way, we have to go in and get that taken care of. And you'll need to have a nice soft microfiber cloth to use, because it has to be gentle on the surface. Now, some people use lemon juice. This is one of the options that is available. It's not my favorite. But it does still work, not as perfect as how I would want it to though, for the sake of the plants. So the main thing to bear in mind though is that you want to clean the upper surface of it, and I'm going to show you in just a moment how to do it. And the undersurface, you're not going to touch that at all, because the breathing cells are there and that can damage the plant. What I actually use, this is my little secret ingredient here, it's mayonnaise, and you just basically dip your cleaning cloth in there. And you just go in and you start applying it, and try not to go in both directions. You just go from back to front and apply it gently on there, as gently as you can. And if it goes on a little heavy at first, that's fine, because you can always go back in and get it wiped off afterwards. And you typically would want to start from the older leaves and then make your way slowly to the top. And again, just be careful of the underside. You really don't want to have any damage happening under there, because the plants can get diseases, as well as, they don't breathe as well as they should. And so they won't be at their best. So I'm just going in and gently applying it there. And if you look on the left side, you can see that that's the side that's already been cleaned with the lemon juice. And it didn't look too bad, but I just thought that the mayonnaise did a better job. And so that is what I prefer to use. But of course, you can choose whichever option you like, or whichever brand of mayonnaise. That just happened to be the one that I had. So this is a finished look here, guys. And even though one side looks a little bit better than the other, I think it looks so much better than it did before. And I know that this plant is quite happy right now. So I'm looking forward to some blooms once the weather warms up a little bit. Now, guys, if you're ever cleaning your plant and water gets on there, even just watering your orchid and water gets on there, you want to make sure that you don't leave it set in there, because it actually causes crown rot. So you can just go ahead and put, like a paper towel in and get it to dry out. And that way your plant should be fine. And the same is for the same is true for the leaves, for the roots at the bottom. And here's a beautiful moth orchid. So now we're going to move over to our plants that are in water. You can see this is in water right here. This is a pothos, and I have different varieties of it right here. Some of them are variegated. I have a lighter green color and a dark one. But you'll notice that on this one, it's not like a greasy buildup. It's more like dust that's on there. So this is a little bit easier to clean. And what we normally do for these is just to go in and get some water. Maybe you can use your watering can like I have here, or the spray nozzle from your by your faucet, and just go in and have it, washed off very nicely. And so that's what I'm doing here. And And be sure that your water is at room temperature, you know, not cold, because if it's cold, it's going to shock the plants like this, because they are tropical, so they don't want to have like really cold water. In the winter time, it can get so cold on the cold side sometimes, so do bear that in mind. And of course, like anything else, you don't want to put the water that's too warm on there, because that will damage the cells, and you'll most likely end up with a plant that, you know, dies and doesn't survive at all. You know, so just go in and give it a nice wash, and your plant is going to be so happy. So that's my pretty pothos right there. Bear in mind too that you should try to change your water at least every 2 weeks, especially in the warmer months. You may have like mosquitoes coming in and all of that. And just to let you know that, guys, that this is actually a part of an open collaboration hosted by Penny's Lifestyle Living and some lovely co-hosts, and I'll be linking their channels in the description box below, so be sure to check them out as soon as you get a chance. So over here now we're looking at some succulents. So this is our next category right here, and these can be a little bit tricky because quite often, you know, like your cactus and so on, they tend to be spiny. This one here, it has different types in there, you know, echeveria species and different types mixed together. They're just so beautiful. And so you kind of wonder, you know, how to get in and get the dust out. And you have different options. So we are actually going to be using this cleaner to clean this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it. And you just hold it a few inches back. You just blow it. If there's anything in there, it will come out. The next option is that you can go in with a paintbrush, like a soft, gentle paintbrush, and just go in and make your strokes along. And they even have kits like those too, you know, like succulent kits that you can get the specific ones for this type of plant, and it helps you to clean it up. And by the way, guys, if you're liking this video so far, I do hope that you will give me a thumbs up. It does help to get the video out to more people so that they can get this useful information and have happy and healthy plants in their home. So next we're going to move on now to our tropicals like this Croton right here. You may have seen me repot this last season, and it is doing so well. You can see the younger leaves, you know, that they're looking nice and green, and that, you know, the more colored ones are at the bottom. But of course we have to get it cleaned off as well if there's dust on there. But what you want to do is to make sure, because it is a tropical plant, you want to make sure that if you're going to be doing it outside, that your temperature is at least 50 degrees Fahrenheit or higher than that. Because if it goes out there in the cold weather, it's going to shock the plant. And you're going to notice that it's not, like it starts to, you know, go downwards. It's not doing as well. It will survive, but it's just not good to shock them like that. So this is like a nice, you know, shower coming down on them, and it's just so wonderful to do that for your plants. Now let's say it's the winter time and it's really cold and you don't have the chance to take them outdoors. You can always do it inside your bathtub or your shower, but you could just go ahead and get, like, you know, a grocery bag, some kind of a plastic bag, and tie over it like I did here. And that's going to prevent any, you know, like, you know, whether you have mulch or anything like that in there, prevent it from messing up your bathtub or messing up your shower. And then you just go in like I did before and just go ahead and shower it off, and you should be good to go. Just let it dry off a little first, and you can always put it back where it came from. And guys, if you've never subscribed to my channel before, I do hope that you'll hit the subscribe button and tap on the notification bell twice so that you will never miss an upload. I do lots of gardening topics, guys. So here I have my pineapple on the side next to my Croton, next to my door, so they're getting enough sunlight in there. A pineapple can be a little tricky in the sense that it behaves like a succulent. It's a bromeliad, but at the same time it's also tropical, so you can decide how you want to treat that one based on what I've explained to you so far. Typically for me, I just get a little brush and just brush out anything that might gather in there, or just pick them out if they're large enough, and that works out pretty well for me. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of orchid, guys. I just love orchids. This one is from my mother-in-law in Jamaica. It's so beautiful. These are some Cattleya ones here, two-toned. Aren't they beautiful? And here are some beautiful moth orchids as well. And here are some that are from the botanical garden, orchids next to the bromeliads. And they're just so beautiful. I just love orchids, guys. And it's just wonderful that we can grow them outdoors or indoors as long as we give them the proper care. And they will, you know, they'll survive and they'll bloom for us. And over here we have, these are some moth orchids. This is like wall-to-wall orchids right here. They're just absolutely gorgeous. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it inspires you to get your plants cleaned, your orchids, your succulents, your tropicals, whether they're in water, whichever way it goes. There's a method to clean them. I do thank you so much for watching, and I do hope to see you in the next video. Take care.